Yes, everybody. Russ and the West Ham Network. Hope you're all safe and well. If you're in, give it a like, give it a comment, give it a share, give it a subscribe. Happy Monday. Hope your Monday's going well. Hope your Monday evening's going well. Hope you're enjoying all the content from other channels. Forge Mine Extra Time, I think, had their show, their inaugural live show or something like that. Yeah, Claret and Booze are doing a show tonight as well. And I told you, there was going to be a lot of interesting news coming up at this week, and today has proved that. We did a show on in lunchtime about the rumor roundups. That's all changed, and there's more rumors. And then we did a few more with the Dave Moyes press conference for the pre-season friendly against Spurs, which kicks off tomorrow at 11 a.m. We'll be having a preview tomorrow morning, as well as maybe even the watch along if Phantom can get away from it or work, which would be fairly impressive if that happens. And it's just relentless, absolutely relentless. And then obviously we had the news today that West Ham had 2 offers rejected for players today, both Premier League sides, 45 million. Originally it was quoted at 40, but David Ornstein at The Athletic said it was actually moved to 45 million pounds. So that's what we went with, and that was rejected by Fulham. And the loan approach for Harry Maguire has also been rejected for Man United as a first port of call. So we'll see what happens. So people saw those as like Moisey sort of signings, but then we were like, what about Tim? And then bang bang, we've had that 2 very Tim Steinden type rumors. And let's start with the first one. Let's start with the one that was on the thumbnail. In terms of Goretzka, apparently West Ham are preparing an offer for the Bayern Munich midfielder Leon Goretzka, the German international. That's according to Sky Sports Germany. Obviously, we are in the market. We know in the market for midfielders. In fact, all we're going to talk about today is midfielders in this show, and several linked to the sort of Hammers shortlist. And Sky Sports have basically said today that Goretzka is a name on the West Ham shortlist. I mean, the actual article says, according to Sky Information, West Ham is preparing an offer for the record champions midfielder. Goretzka was publicly criticised by Thomas Tuchel recently, who's obviously the Bayern Munich manager. I mean, he's a new name to be linked with, but he's not a name we don't know of. Do you know what I mean? It's like Stein hasn't unearthed a gem with Goretzka. We know of Goretzka, and he's a very good player. Since moving to Bayern Munich in the 18-19 season, he's gone on to win 5 Bundesliga titles, the DFB Pokal twice, and also the Champions League. So he's won it all, basically. Bayern, I think, will be doing business in terms of selling players. It's worth noting that the Bayern Munich were one of the sides who were obviously originally linked to Declan Rice. So it's possible that Bayern will first have to, look for reinforcements maybe before allowing players to leave. Similarly, they are trying to put packages together for Harry Kane and also for Kyle Walker. So they need money. And Goretzka may be one of those players who could be moved on. Obviously, he's German international midfielder and would be more of a name maybe than some of the other players who've been linked to internationally. Obviously, multiple times he's played for Germany, and he's won everything basically there is to win in Germany. So maybe it's time for him to move to warmer climes, because London, because England the weather's shit, and in Munich it can be quite humid. But for me, I think also Man United are looking at him as well. So so it could be a domino effect. Maybe we don't get Goretzka. Maybe it is McTominay who comes in and Goretzka goes to Man United. Who knows? But it's another name to add to the 116 names we have been linked with. That's right, 116 now, I think it is. Let's talk about another one. It's the French international midfielder and AS Monaco midfielder YOUSSEF FOFANA. Apparently, West Ham hold a significant interest in him, according to several sources, including 90 Minutes. He is another name to be added to our list. It claims that we hold a significant interest, and he has been outstanding for the League One side this year. Described as Monaco's rock in the middle of the park, Fofana is said to provide West Ham with a good value for money option on the European market. Obviously, we already tried for 45 million. It's worth actually saying that Goretzka will probably they've been quoted in the press at 50 million euros, so around 45 million pounds, which is very similar to the 45 million pounds that Polina was allegedly approached with, or Fulham were approached with. So maybe a smoke and mirrors thing. we don't know. Fofana is a bundle of energy, and he's a big lad, and he has all the physical attributes to be a fantastic player in the Premier League. As I said, he's a French international, full international already. We have a lot of French contingent players already there, and he could be a really interesting option. There would be a question mark, obviously, over his experience. Where someone like Polina, even over GORETZKA, Polina would come in and already knows the pace of the Premier League, so he would literally go straight in and be a starter. Wouldn't be any bedding in period. GORETZKA, even with his experience, mainly bedding in because obviously it's a different league to the Bundesliga where he's played, all of his career. Fofana as well in League A, very different. You think how long it took for someone like Paqueta to adjust to the English game, more so than maybe a Gerd, because he was more as a centre back. It's like, but obviously in the middle of the park, you need to be up with the pace of the Premier League. So that may take some time for the 24-year-old to settle. Arguably, if you look at everyone we signed in the summer, the one player who slotted in without any effort or any bedding in period was Emerson, who came with Premier League experience already. So keep an eye out for YOUSSEF maybe with bids potentially on the horizon. According to a couple of sources, we have been offered Tyler Adams. Leeds have just offered him to us on a plate for £20 million, apparently. According to our friends at 90 Minutes again, Leeds have offered him directly to West Ham. And it claims that he's one of the players, obviously, that are being considered. And again, this has a slight, in my opinion, fingerprints of both Steindl and Moyes, in that Moyes obviously would have seen him playing in the Premier League for Leeds. Obviously, he was injured towards the running when Leeds sort of obviously were relegated. And he's got Bundesliga experience because he came from the Bundesliga originally. So Steindl would be aware of him as well. So £20 million, it's a cheaper option again. I think if Tyler Adams comes in, I think it would be alongside another midfielder like a Goretzka or a big name or a Polina or someone like that. I think it would be a case of it would be a Tyler Adams or a Dennis Zakaria or an Edison Alves, one for that side of the pitch, so to speak, one for that role, and then maybe Goretzka. Fofana potentially could be more of a force. He does remind me a little bit of like Patrick Vieira and Yaya Toure, as big, muscular midfielders, and so maybe slightly more box to box. But it's going to be fascinating to see the combination. There's loads of different combinations we can get. And we've been linked with, as I said, 116 players. We haven't got a bidding for 116. I'll be surprised if we had a bidding for 5 of them, in all honesty. And just to add to the quartet of midfielders, according to the Daily Mail, wasn't it? The Mail Online, West Ham have put in a verbal offer for James Ward-Prowse, whatever that means. We're going to put an offer in for you, mate. There we go. That's a verbal offer, apparently. According to the Daily Mail, the 28-year-old has been subject of a verbal offer from West Ham. Again, I have no idea what that means. According to the journalist Simon Jones for the Mail Online, he says a verbal offer has been made for Southampton's Jade Ward-Prowse, while talks have taken place over Dennis Zakaria of Juventus, Edson Alvarez at Ajax, Leeds' Tyler Adams, and Scott McTominay is another on the list. Now, for me, JWP is totally different from everyone else we've probably linked with, in that his game is more based on passing, set piece ability, whereas arguably someone like a Tyler Adams is all about breaking up play. Goretzka is more of a box-to-box type midfielder. Edison is more about just breaking up play and playing it simply. Zakaria to some extent as well. So for me, JWP is totally different. And I think for me, he's probably bottom of the list of those players we've been linked with. So yeah, it's going to be interesting to see. In other news, in terms of outs, we apparently, according to Clarence Hugh, Paqueta is going nowhere. That's what we've heard. And also, apparently, according to a few sources, West Ham could be letting Antonio go to the Saudi League. And he's been linked with a move away to Steven Gerrard's side. According to the Daily Mail, it claims that Obviously, West Ham are looking to revamp their forward line, and earlier this evening, a report from Saudi Arabia claimed Al Etifak, Al Etifak, who's the side man. If I keep saying it, it will just stick in my head. Who are managed by Steven Gerrard, are in advanced negotiations with Jamaican striker Mikel Antonio to sign him. So, according to a board confidant, it issued an interesting response to the claim that he is on his way for around £7 million, which is almost exactly what we paid for him back in 2005 from Nottingham Forest. Sean Whetstone basically says, we are not in any talks over the sale of Antonio. Antonio's representatives are in early talk. Whether Antonio's representatives are in early talks with Saudi club managed by Steven Gerrard is unknown by West Ham. So apparently we are not in talks for, but he could well be. Oh, it's just a circus that is West Ham sometimes, isn't it? I think personally, he will go. And I think someone like Saudi League would be a good league for him to go to. Obviously, Steven Gerrard, they also look like they're buying. They've also put a bid in for Jordan Henderson. And Fabinho is £40 million bid, apparently, from the Saudi League as well. It's mental over there in terms of the money. Very reminiscent of the old Chinese Super League, wasn't it? Do you remember when old what's his chops out? Yeah, we lost our striker to the Chinese Super League, didn't we? With Marko Arnautovic. It's history repeating itself, isn't it? Unbelievable. Anyway, guys, take care, stay safe, stay warm, get some sleep, and we'll see you in the morning. Much